I cannot get by without you, honey. Mercy, mercy, I can't get out. I see that girl and she play me a fool. By my tie, drag me high to some fabulous views. She's my ride, lost my mind, trying to walk in these shoes. On the line, she's no good for me, sugar. Oh, I cannot get by without you, honey. Mercy, mercy, I can't get out. I cannot get by without you, honey. Mercy, mercy, I can't.
Hi, I'm Paul Feiner. I'm the Greenburgh Town Supervisor, and every year I attend a lot of events. But there's some events that are so spectacular and so special that I feel that I want to really promote it. And today I'm going to be interviewing Peter Shafran, who's executive producer of the River Spirit Music. It's an event that's going to take place at Draper Park in Hastings-on-Hudson on September 7th, 2019. If you missed Woodstock and want to feel like you could get a taste of Woodstock, this is definitely the event to go to. So Peter, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Paul.
And when I mentioned that it reminds me of Woodstock, even though I never went to it, would you say it's accurate?
Except for the mud. Yeah. The whole idea behind this festival, the River Spirit Music and Arts Festival, as you know, came about 12 years ago and the creation of the Take Me to the River Festival, which was Hastings' annual festival. And after 10 years, they passed the torch on to me. And so the vibe that they created and the vibe that we want to maintain has been this very community oriented, family fun, which is probably a little bit different than Woodstock. I don't think there were that many families there, at least not with young kids. But it was really kind of a do-it-yourself, a DIY festival, and we try to maintain that vibe. So we try to make it as little commercialized as possible, and to make it really feel like a homegrown festival, which is really what it is.
How many musicians do you have?
So this year we've increased the number of musicians. Last year we were at 18. This year we're at 21. So we have 3 stages. We have the main stage, or what we call the Meadow stage, has 10 acts. They start on the hour, starting at noon and run till 10 p.m. And then we have the Grove stage, because it's literally connected in the Grove, in the bottom of the park. And that we have, on that stage, we have 9 bands. And those bands are mostly from river towns and from Westchester.
What about the other location? Are they also local bands?
On the main stage, there are 3 local bands, or 4 local bands if you include all of Westchester, and then the rest of the bands are mostly from the New York area. Our headliner this year is a band called Juice, and they are Boston-based. And then we have a 3rd stage, which we didn't utilize last year, which is in what we call the Kids Zone. And so about 40% of the park is unofficially designated Kids Zone. And so this year we'll use that park, that stage, and we'll have workshops for kids in songwriting, and we have also a singer-songwriter who will be singing songs for the very young, toddlers to preschool, and so there's activities in that whole area. But we've increased the number of musical acts, so it's 10 hours of music from noon to 10 p.m.
And I remember last year the quality of the music was just spectacular.
Well, thank you.
And you're not really getting just amateurs, you're getting really
everybody,
good musicians.
Yeah, everybody on the main stage are either touring musicians or headliners at other places. For instance, this band Juice Just sold out the Gramercy Plaza, Gramercy Ballroom. They just finished a 27 city tour, selling out almost every place they played. One of the other bands on our stage is Dead Grass. They've been playing the Capitol Theater, and they played Garcia's, and they played all over. And obviously, by their name, Dead Grass, they fit into the Jerry Garcia, Grateful Dead category. James Maddock, who's our second headliner, is a mainstay on the downtown New York music scene, who plays Rockwood Music Hall, plays City Winery all the time. So these are guys who are, or not just guys, men and women who are really out there making money as a professional living. On our second stage, we have some of the bands that are also trying to make it as a singer-songwriter, let's say, but probably the majority of the bands on the second stage are weekend warriors, as we like to call them, people who have day jobs and then put together a band on the weekend.
So that's one of the reasons why people have to pay to attend, because it must be pretty costly.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, our budget is even higher this year than it was last year. We've included more activities for kids. We've added more tents so that we have shade or protection from the rain, as we had last year. So yeah, we're trying to make this festival into not just a village festival, and it's really outgrown that. It's been kind of a regional festival now, and we're trying to amp it up for the next couple of years to make it on the national stage. So tickets are available online at www.riverspiritfestival.com.
Great. Now, somebody's hungry. Should they just bring a picnic lunch with them?
Absolutely, but we have choices. So we have an extensive food court, which ranges everything from pizza, Japanese, barbecue, Mediterranean food, salads, and the like. Last year, I think we had a dozen vendors, and I think we'll have even more this year. And then there's all kinds of other stuff to do. We also have City Winery, who I mentioned before, is our wine vendor and sponsor, and they'll be bringing some of their choice wines. And this year we brought in a beer vendor who actually is an importer of a beer called La Birra di Meni, it's an Italian, obviously, an Italian beer, which normally most people don't associate with good beer, but this is really fantastic beer.
I'm sort of thinking this is the time of year people get a little depressed because the summer is winding down, but now you could really look forward to having a really great time, because it's September 7th, and it's from noon to
10 p.m.
Yeah. So you can spend the whole day and just have a fantastic time. The food vendors the food is really delicious. Now, people should bring their own chairs, or
chairs and blankets. We don't provide chairs. We do provide, as I said, a tent for hot weather if they want to sit in the shade. There are shady areas in there, and of course, if it rains or drizzles, we'll have a place. And you said about things to do all day. I'll tell you, the most popular non-music thing that we had last year was the insect petting zoo. And I think you might have seen that last year, but it was, we have a guy who's an entomologist from Purdue University who brings his bugs and other animals collection. And we have Madagascar hissing cockroaches that you can have crawl up your arm.
Oh, wow.
And whatever else he brings this year, he has a blue, like silkworm. He has a frog. If you look on our webpage, you'll see he has a bullfrog that's not an insect, but he brings it anyway, and he calls it sandwich, I think, or whopper. And it's about this big. I'll face it to the camera here. About this big, and with the legs extended, it's about 1.5 feet. It's a huge, actually, it's probably a toad. But that was the most fun. And then, of course, we have face painting and hair braiding and henna tattoos. And
I think there was even information booths.
Absolutely.
Relating to issues. Hastings is a very activist community, so
absolutely, yes, we will have that. We'll have we have a new working group that's working for solar power and alternative heat supplies. And also, for the first time this year, we're doing a health and wellness area. So within the framework of the kids zone, we have, so far, we have 2 pediatricians, an allergist, an acupuncturist, a homeopath, and I have and a wellness sanctuary that just opened in Hastings, a woman who is also a birth coach and a doula. And
That's
so,
great.
yeah, when you said it's our Hastings community, and especially the river towns, but especially more so Hastings, is a very progressive and very interesting community. And we're getting tons of people moving in. Many young people are moving in, and the other thing I'll add about Hastings is just in the last 2 months we've had 4 new businesses open, all women-owned.
And you know what's interesting? I remember seeing somebody in Hastings a couple months ago. They decided to actually move to the village of Hastings because of the River Spirit Music and Arts Festival. They attended the festival, last year. They loved it. They said, you know what, I have to buy a house here. And they did.
Well, you need to give me those people's names.
So you know what, I think that, one of the nice things about, this, it really creates such a positive vibe about the village. Now, does the village co-sponsor this?
Yes.
And who are some of the other sponsors?
So the lead sponsor is, of course, the Village of Hastings-on-Hudson. They were very generous in promoting live music in Hastings back when they started to Take Me to the River Festival. And the Board of Trustees and the Mayor have been very supportive of live music in Hastings. And so not only did they support our festival, but last year, as you know, we started the Waterfront Concert Series, which added music to the waterfront by the Hudson River, and they, of course, supported that as well. And so we were lucky enough, last year, weather was not our friend. This year we did very nicely, and we had 4 out of 4 with no rain, so we were very happy. And so, so the village has been extremely supportive, not only in terms of money, but also in terms of services. So the village puts up, we have the police and fire, the DPW, the Parks and Rec, all involved in the planning and organizing and operation of the festival. It's a real community event.
And Draper Park is located near Farragut?
A block away. It is on the corner, the entrance is on the corner of Washington and Broadway. The entrance to the park for those of people who are driving in to drop people off is right off Broadway. But parking for the festival, since there's very little parking there, is down at the Zinsser parking lot, Zinsser commuter lot, right across the street from the train station, and we have shuttles running every 5 minutes.
So somebody has a disability,
then
they can take a shuttle and...
Well, they can drive, if they have a disability, they can drive right up to the front gate and drop off their passenger who needs assistance. And then there's parking for disabled.
That's why I like Hastings, is they always are thinking of
absolutely
of everything.
Yeah. And then if you're coming in from Metro North, you just hop off the train and come right across the street, and the shuttle bus is right there. And so the shuttle bus will be running from 11 a.m. till 11 p.m. So the shuttle buses are running constantly, and so if you don't feel like walking the 8 minutes, although it is uphill, it's 8 minutes. I timed it. It's 8 minutes from the train station to the front entrance of the festival, so you can take the shuttle bus, and it'll probably take you 5 minutes.
That is great. Before we go, could you just name the performers and tell about what time they're going to be?
Sure. So I mentioned before Juice, and I'll just tell you something briefly about them. They are a young band. They are 7. It's a septet who all went to college together at Boston College. They got together, started singing together, and they went into the Boston College Battle of the Bands, and they won it. And then they entered another Battle of Bands, and they won that. And they just keep on winning. And last year, I think, or in 2016, they won the Minnesota Summerfest, which is a big deal. And they won that Battle of the Bands and got a big spot on the main stage. And then last year they won the Battle of the Bands, and they were on the
Oh,
main
wow.
stage at Pleasantville Music Festival. And they played, like I said, at Capitol Theater. They are a really hot band. They're coming out with a new EP, I believe, this week, and they'll start making all their rounds on the Today Show and Good Morning America and everything like that. So that'll really help us put that on the map. And as I said, James Maddock is Juice will be at 8 o'clock. James Maddock will be at 6 o'clock. Dead Grass at 3 o'clock. And the one other mention that I'll say, if you can get there early, at 12 o'clock is the Armacost, Lepore, Petrosino Trio, which is really a mouthful. But what's interesting about them is Tim Armacost is a sax player and world class, as are his bandmates. But they were asked by the U.S. Embassy in Khartoum to come to Sudan and show them what American jazz is like, and they met with folk musicians in Khartoum, and they ended up putting together an album, which is I think out now, of Sudanese folk music, but adapted to a jazz flavor.
Oh, that's great!
It's really amazing, and when you see the promo video, you'll see that they're all dressed in Sudanese costume, which their hosts gave them as a present. And if you've been following the news, there's been a lot of positive things coming out of Sudan, and it's now a democracy, which I asked them if they take any credit for, and they said, of course, they'll take credit for it.
That's great.
And the other thing I'll add about the concert, which I didn't mention before, about the festival, I should say, is we've been chosen for a pilot program to use for the first time in a small concert or small festival setting, cashless bracelets, so that everybody, instead of coming and getting a paper bracelet, will get an actual bracelet that has an RFID chip in it, so that you can go to any vendor throughout the festival once you load up money onto it, and you won't have to take your wallet out. You just go beep, and you pay for your beer, and beep, and pay for everything. But even more important than that is they developed technology so that you can have a children's bracelet, and you can load money onto your children's bracelet. So number one, they don't have to come up to you and ask, can I have $5, can I have $10?
I never saw that before.
But more interesting than that is the children's bracelet is linked to the adult's bracelet, which means a child cannot leave the premises without the parent being next to them. So there cannot be any abductions or kidnapping or anything like that.
So how does that work? What if they try leaving?
There'll be guards at every gate who scan on the way out, and so you cannot leave. If a stranger takes your child and tries to get them off the premises, they can't go unless the parent is right there linked.
What made you decide to organize this?
They actually approached me. They had heard what I had done in last year's festival. They're looking to come into the United States. They're based in Mexico City. They're the largest company that does this in Mexico, and they're looking to expand both into South America, but also into North America. And they chose me to do this. And so we've been working on it for several months, and so we'll be the first in the United States for small festivals to have this. Some of the largest, Bonnaroo and some of the large festivals, already have something like this. But the technology for the kids' bracelet is brand new. They invented that, and we're going to be the first ones to test it out.
So the event is Saturday, September 7th at River Spirit Music and Arts Festival in the village of Hastings. Tickets are $40 or $20 for students and seniors, and if you're a senior, you have to be 65 years.
And we'll be checking ID.
Yep. And there's a lot of food vendors, wine gardens, a beer tent, arts and crafts, vendors, fun kids activities, including songwriting and performing, an insect petting zoo, face painting, hair braiding, henna tattoos, and much more. And you could check their website, www.riverspiritfestival.com. And, I've attended this in the past, and I've attended the events in previous years, and without question, I would say this is among the top 2 or 3 events that I attend every single year in the whole, in the whole town, or I should say, in the whole metropolitan area, only because it is so much fun. It's so well organized. The quality of the music is just sensational. The people are, it's just total fun. So you will be getting more than your value.
Absolutely.
And I really encourage people to attend. I'm going to post this on the town website, and I hope to see you there. And I guarantee you that no one who attends will be disappointed.
And if you see me at the festival, come over and say hello.
Good. I'm Paul Feiner, Greenburgh Town Supervisor, and it's impossible to top what you're doing, so I won't
Thank
even
you.
try.
I cannot get by without you, honey. Mercy, mercy, I can't get out.